Het-Heru, Assalamu alaikum. This is Kisakma Keperu with another broadcast for you. And today I want to talk to you about a really important subject matter, which is the SJW and MeToo media conspiracy. And it's going to be a very interesting discussion. I'm going to take a little bit of notes here. But first of all, I want you guys to do me a favor, and if you can, hit the like button and share this video with friends and family so we can get the word out there. And if you're watching my video for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. And if you can, donate. Het-Heru Aset, Kanida, Het-Heru. So one of the things I have always said when I started out many years ago, because I realized it very early on, that's because my spirit, my soul has been reincarnated on this planet so many times that I can see the BS that's being put out there. But first, before I go further, I want to donate this broadcast to Het-Heru, Hathor, and Sebek. And I'm wearing their necklace colors here today because it is appropriate for the subject matter we're discussing, which is media manipulation. So I told people many years ago that the race conflict or racism was an egregore or a virus that was put into the ether, or more, appropriately, the ruling elite learned to hack the psyche, and they put this virus of racism in the ether to where individuals are downloading it. And what they had to do is they had to create this division between the races and create a hierarchy, like the Indian totem pole, a hierarchy of race. And they had to have these taskmasters to control by proxy the lower class. So they had to give white people more privilege, and black people were put in check by the masses of the white population. And the puppet masters at the top were the ruling elite, who were involved in their satanic rituals and things of that nature. They are black magicians. I talked about this, and I said that the masses of the population are very ignorant or just programmed to go along with the agenda that they don't know. They're downloading the program, okay? And many times on the program, you're on autopilot, so you don't really realize it, which is why you can't discuss with somebody who is a starch racist or who is, a sexist or something. Like, for example, you can't have a logical discussion with a member of the KKK. It just doesn't work that way because they have downloaded the program, and some people get more extreme and fanatical with the program. Other people are just, in the middle, in today's society, we could say left or right, more left wing or right wing. But the fact of the matter is that most of the wars that we see on this planet, most of the racial conflicts, like what Hitler was doing and things, these are orchestrated. This is not natural occurrences, because by nature you are God man, God woman. You would not act in this way. But because you have a select group of people, let's say the 1%ers, who learned the occult secrets of the ancient Kemet people, ancient Egyptians, they were able to seize control of the planet and to hack the psyche and create a matrix system to where now you are responding and manufacturing a fourth dimensional reality that's not in alignment with truth or what God wants for us. So when you see this racial conflict, or you see the wars going on, you go, why can't we all just get along? Or why is there so much strife and division in the world? Because it's created. If you research Bacon's Rebellion, that's a clear example of what happened, because you had, during that time period, you had white people were slaves with black people, and that there was an uprising, and then the ruling elite realized that if they gave white people a little bit more privilege, they would then separate themselves and see themselves differently than the black people who were slaves, once they saw themselves as equal to them. So that was kind of like the template for a massive global type of hierarchy or system of racism or white supremacy. And still modern psychology is refusing to look into this, to dive into this, and to really publish papers and talk about that this thing, this psychosis of white supremacy, needs to be dealt with. And we need to stop using the Sebecan term racism, because racism doesn't really define and place the responsibility of who are the true architects behind this. So you have to understand that white supremacy is a sickness. Racism is not something that everyone is capable of. All right, but we know that on this planet, the people or the individuals like a Hitler, you know, a King Leopold, that committed these atrocities, who have invaded, who have raped and pillaged the world, has been historically white males. Now, I'm not here to place blame or say, oh, you know, all white people are bad. No, we don't do that, because, you know, in the ancient Kemetic system, they did not see something as bad or good, because everything complemented each other and everything was a part of a whole system that operated, and you could not have the whole system function properly if one piece was missing. But unfortunately, we're dealing with a ruling elite that's so sick in their efforts, they want to eliminate a large part of the population on the planet, and still thinks that Gaia, Mother Earth, is still going to function and allow that to happen. No, Gaia is not going to allow that to happen, because there is an intelligence that's at work here. There is intelligent consciousness that they can't perceive because they're so left-brained. And the consciousness says, if you screw with trying to wipe a certain people off the planet, I'm going to wipe you off the planet as well, because you are doing this. You're the perpetrators of this. So going back to my point is that what we think is entertainment, what we think is mass media, is really a programming mechanism. They're programming us for a future that's going to mushroom 100 years from now or 50 years from now. This is how their concept of time is different than our concept of time. Because, oh, what's up, my brother O'Shea? How you doing? The Temple. All right. We got O'Shea Duke Jackton. You know, stop the show. O'Shea's in the house, man. You guys check out this brother's show. It's awesome. I've come on the show every now and then. Thank you. You just become a Patreon. Thank you. Appreciate that. So the point I'm trying to make is what we think is mass media is really something that's been constructed and socially engineered to shape our minds and even our physiology toward a dystopian future. So what you think is a natural progression of culture or evolution is not so. Because the way that we are here today now has been a disruption in the space-time continuum. Because when the civilizations of the past were not primitive, ancient Kemet, the Mayan civilization, they were very advanced civilization, more advanced than we even realize. But because those who are in the major universities, the archaeologists, the anthropologists, they have taken the information, rewritten history to call our ancestors primitive, pagan, using those little Sebecan terms to make us think that the linear progression is the right progression when the linear progression comes out of the left hemisphere of the brain. Time is not linear. In fact, time is an illusion. Time does not exist. This is why I talk about that when you want to access real power, you have to go to the right brain, which is nonlinear, okay? And time, if anything, works more cyclical, but there is no such thing as time. There is no past, there's no present. Well, there's only the present moment, but there's no future and there's no past. So when you are thinking about the past or you're trying to envision a future, you're really accessing different aspects of the present now moment. You're leaping from different frames of a movie, a film. Because again, the only thing that exists is this present moment, and all that exists is happening simultaneously in this moment. So as I'm sitting here, as I've always said to you, that, you know, dinosaurs are walking around. You have the Rome is, anointing a new emperor. The pyramids are being built in this same space and time here, because all things exist simultaneously. Okay, so watch my previous videos to really understand that concept. And because who you originally are is not the physical Geb being, you are consciousness projecting a fourth dimensional experience so you can interact with, so that you can have the experience, so Neter, God's source, can experience itself. All right, but the modern media, what they do is they trap you in the body and say you are human. And then they take it a step further and they create these grand scheme battles, or they pit one against the other. They pit one gender against the other, one political party against the other, one race against the other. The modern media is the most corrupt thing on this planet because they go under the guise of just reporting and entertaining you, when really what they're doing is they're lying through their teeth. And I want you guys, when you get some time, to get some books, like, for example, NLP, Mind Control Language Patterns. And if you watch my previous videos where I talk about sigils, symbolisms. And here's another example of a symbol with the Hebrew writing. These symbols and the language patterns that they use are imperceptible to the left brain. You're not realizing that this is embedded in the movies, this is embedded in the news programs, but this is exactly what they are. And many of these geometric shapes are frequencies, they're vibrations that get you to vibrate at a certain frequency so you can manifest the reality that you see before you, but it's not the reality that you want, it's the reality that they want. All right. And case in point, this whole SJW, social justice warriors, and the MeToo movement. These two things were planned years ahead of time. These are not just some social movements that came about by individual special interest groups like feminism, like Black Lives Matter. No, these were constructed in specialized think tank institutions, and the agenda was put together, and then it was disseminated and put out to the major universities to hire professors that would teach these things, mostly female professors that would teach these things, such as the feminism, where then from the major universities and institutions, you then go right to the mass media, which is Hollywood, which then does their little thing where they're pumping out all these films with that same agenda. Let me just give you some case in points. When we look at movies like Avengers, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ocean's 8, Star Wars, Incredibles 2, and I'm going to come back to that because that's important, Black Panther, Get Out. Now, all these films, you know, my background is film, take time to go into what we call is develop. We'll get green light, go into development, then go into production, and then go into post-production. All of these films take time to do this. Now, if you have a film that's rich with CGI, like The Incredibles 2 or Star Wars, that takes a number of years to bring to fruition. Now, I want to ask you this. How are all of these films just coming out of the woodwork with lead female characters? The majority of these films I named vilify the male characters or make them seem incompetent or stupid. Like if you have Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man's, he needs this woman to come and rescue him, and he's supposed to be the lead in his own film. If you have Incredibles 2, now you have the woman, she's going out there and she's a superhero. The dad has to stay at home and take care of Jack. Ocean's 8, it's all a female cast. You even had the Ghostbusters with all female cast. How much of a coincidence is this that all these films that went to green light by Hollywood are all starring female leads? What a coincidence. We've never seen, this is unprecedented in Hollywood history to have so many films with female leads and that also put down male characters, such as the case in point of Star Wars, The Last Jedi, where they basically made Luke Skywalker look like an idiot. And Rey, who's a Mary Sue, she can do everything. She can pilot the Millennium Falcon. She's a Jedi. She has natural ability. So how is all Hollywood suddenly producing all of these films, which would have took years to write the script and bring to production, all simultaneously starting to be released in 2017 and 2018? I smell something wrong here. Oh, wait. Now, also, couple that with the fact that the MeToo movement started. So now all of a sudden, we're prosecuting You know, you're guilty in the eyes of public opinion. Any male that just looks at a female, and now we have male actors who are now just they're losing their livelihood by roles being taken away from them. They're being vilified in the media just because some woman made an accusation 5-10 years ago that hasn't been proven, but it's enough for these actors, these male actors, to lose their endorsements, to lose future work. At the same time, Hollywood starts releasing all these female-driven films. Coincidentally, MeToo aligns with the SJW movement in Hollywood motion pictures. What the hell's going on? It's a conspiracy. They're trying to socially engineer and manipulate you. What are they doing? They're trying to create a gender divide between white males and white females, elevating white females to more positions of power, creating animosity between white females and white males. This is what they're doing. What kind of justice system convicts a person in the eyes of public opinion just because some woman comes out of the woodwork 10 years later to say he tapped my booty? What is that? There's no due process. And immediately they have to step down from their positions of the companies. Immediately they suddenly lose future roles or future earnings, all because of some unproven accusation. Then you have them going after Bill Cosby, and then the laws are suddenly changed. The statute of limitations are changed. And then suddenly, and they know they can't get one or two girls because their stories wouldn't stick. So they have to throw a bunch of things at the wall and hope something sticks. So they get 20 women who all have shady backgrounds to testify against Bill Cosby, when they damn well know that most people in Hollywood, most actors, are doing drugs. They're going to these wild parties, and there is a pedophilia ring in Hollywood. So going after these one or two individuals, and Bill Cosby is a small fry. When they're not, they know that there are bigger fish to fry in Hollywood. So when I said before previously that there was manipulation to create animosity between blacks and whites in the media, I was not kidding you. I was telling you this was manipulated. This was put in place by not people like George Soros. Yes, George Soros financed Black Lives Matter, about 30 million he put behind that. And these special interest groups like the feminist groups and the MGTOW and the SJWs, all these other groups are not really behind this. You know who's behind this? Let me see if I can give you just some names of who's behind this, okay? Because when I'm hearing people talk about expressing hatred, and they keep going into first wave, second wave, third wave feminism, Black Lives Matter, this whole "we hate diversity" campaign because they're taking out white men from the movie roles to make things more diverse. No, those special interest groups are not behind it. What is behind it is a think tank institutions like Tavistock, like the Council on Foreign Relations. Who else? Let me just go through the Heritage Foundation, a big one, okay, and Urban Institute, okay. Let me see what else we have here. You have World Resources Inc. Okay, there's another big one. There's the Hoover Institute. That's a big one. Center for a New America, Foreign Policy Research, Carnegie Moscow. So there are these think tank institutions which do studies and then collectively gather, because the billionaires have their meetings, and then they they take the results from these studies and they have a determination of where they want the world to be in 100 years. And then they put out these commands, and they're really saying results of the study, but no. And what happens is that everyone has to align to this. Hollywood, universities, mass media, especially mass media, has to align to these agendas. This is how Hollywood is able to put out movies that all have the same theme. Man is stupid, incompetent, and evil. Woman is smart. She's independent. She doesn't need a man. She doesn't need a family. The goal of Black Lives Matter is to destroy the nuclear family, and specifically to attack Black males. I've already done a video where I talked about how, and no one believed me when I said this, I said individuals who you see getting these movie deals and getting these deals to be on sitcoms and these cable shows, they're selected. They're not picked because they have talent or their script is brilliant. They're selected. Let's take, for example, if you start looking at some of the programs, like I did a video on Roseanne and Issa Rae, these people are selected because they know that they can get them to go against the males, that they can go with the program. And the same goes for the Black community. You get the women to go against the Black men, say, "Oh, sister girl, you're independent. You don't need no man." Because you see, the vision that they have for the future is they want to get rid of the genders. They want to get rid of genders, and they need to bring the new world in. And the only way they can do that is to stop the force that could create the obstacle for them, and that is males. Because who goes to wars? Males go to war. Who are left brain logical thinkers? Males. Who are right brain emotional thinkers? Females. So who would you attack with your agenda? Who would you try to get on board your agenda by appealing to their emotions? The women. You say, hey, you know, you're being oppressed, you know, you should be a feminist, you know. Hey, listen, you don't need to have a family. You can have a career. Why are you having children? You don't need to do that. You could be a career woman. You know what I mean? Have your son put him in a dress. Gender is a construct. It's not biology. You see what I'm saying? So when we go see a Star Wars, or we go see an Ocean's 8 or Incredibles 2, we think we're just going for entertainment, but they're shaping our minds. They're trying to get us to be okay with the idea that my girl is my enemy, or to influence the woman and say, the man, I should be running the household, not him. I should take the lead, even though I am not yang, I'm yin. Our culture existed for over 10,000 years. And if you go back, and most archaeologists will agree to this, that we had no serial killers. We had no sexism, okay? We had no racism. We didn't have these isms. We didn't have these problems. Because our culture was based on cosmology, ma'at, the ordering of things. There was a place for everything. And we never saw things as separate individual things with their own freedom and rights. No, we saw the whole as having the parts that were necessary for the whole to function. So I don't say to my mate, you're less than me. I say, no, we're symbiotic. We form a whole. Okay? You're God woman, I'm God man, and we rule. But the idea that they pumping out in mass media, oh no, you don't believe that. That's wrong, which comes out of Orwellian philosophy of doublespeak, meaning that the truth is now being made to seem like a lie or seem wrong. To stand up and state the truth, oh, you know, there's nothing wrong with a young girl who wants to be a young girl and wants to cook. There's nothing wrong with that. But the SJWs want to make it seem like, oh, well, you're confining her to a set of responsibilities. Well, I'll tell you that I am a male left brain logical thinker, which is how Netter made me, which means that I am not primarily emotional. I do have emotions, but God did make women primarily right brain emotional, and God made them more in tune to the subtle influences of the universe and to the ether, meaning that they're more best fit to nurture babies, or Set, Isis, the mother patriarch, the patron mother, and because they could read the subtleties of the emotions coming from the baby. Women were also the first priestesses because their right brain, that tunes you into other dimensional realms. So why is Ma'at female? Because righteousness and truth came through women, the females in ancient antiquity. And is that wrong to say? Oh my God, that they have more intuition or in tune to certain things than men are? And is it wrong to say men think more logically? Cosmology tells us there's a place for everything and everything in its place. And when those things fulfill their function, the whole is able to operate successfully. That's Sekert. I'm just telling you that I'm tired of the propaganda. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the manipulation. And it's unfortunate that the program is so deeply embedded now within us that it's hard to shake. Because people don't understand when they're going to movies, they're being programmed. I tried to tell people that although I enjoyed that movie, Get Out, the whole premise of the movie was trying to paint the fact that, interracial relationships, a black man getting together with a white woman is wrong because white women are evil. That's what that movie was trying to say. And that's why that movie got greenlit. Now, if you look at the commercials that are coming out, they have these interracial commercials where you have a black woman with a white man. And they're inundating us with those type of commercials. I've never seen so many interracial commercials, primarily with black women with white men. What are they trying to say? They're trying to cause the gender divide in the African-American community. That's what they're trying to do. Because you know them. James Bond, and excuse my French, can fuck every girl of color he wants. And no one has a problem with it. Captain Kirk can fuck green, blue, black, yellow, pink girls. No one has a problem with it. But if you have a black man who plays 007 James Bond, like Idris Elba, sorry, almost mispronounced his name, and he were to sleep with a bunch of white women, all hell would break loose. Because it doesn't fit the agenda. It doesn't fit the agenda. Do you understand? This is why they make movies like King Kong with Fay Wray. What was that movie about? Well, it was about King Kong, who was an analogy for a big brute black man who they always refer to as a beast. When the cops say, I was in fear of my life, he was a beast. I had to beat him down. I had to shoot him. So King Kong was a whole thing about the white male Hollywood trying to warn white females to stay away from black men, because we know that, during that time, a little after that time, that you had your jazz singers and you had the Motown and you had the black singers were coming out, the male singers, and the music was so good that the white women were really falling for these black male singers. So they said, we can't have this. So they started putting on the covers white men who had nothing to do with the music, didn't sing the music, but it made it okay for the young white girls to buy it and their parents wouldn't be upset. But that still wasn't good enough to say, we got to do something because these young white girls are falling for these black men and they're going to the concerts and they're sleeping with them. We got to create our own white man who has soul, and we'll call him Elvis Presley. Yeah. So the manipulation goes on. So you have somebody like a Michael Jackson, right? And somebody have like a Prince. We can't have these top musicians, these talented people. Michael Jackson had talent up the ass to be at the top of the totem pole and be sleeping with white women. So we have to question his sexuality. Let's make him as metrosexual. So therefore, parents won't be afraid of his sexuality. Prince comes out there and you don't know what Prince's sexuality is. And this is all what media, they concoct these things just so he can continue to sell albums. Because there's so fear of that sexuality and that race mixing. This is what they do. And this is the world we're living in. And as soon as you buy into that belief system, you manufacture that reality as a fourth dimensional experience, and then you will be involved in it. And you don't want to do that, which is why I told you the technique of going dark. Don't even listen to it. Don't even get into a discussion with it when there are discussions about things like, the reason that we've been talking about SJW and MeToo is also a manipulation. So there's levels to this because there are other things going on in the world that are more important than SJW. Much more important. But they throw that out there because they want that to be the topic of discussion. And it doesn't matter if you're for or against it, long as you're talking about it. Do you understand? That means you're buying into the belief system that this thing is important. And it's not important at all. You're making it important. You're putting it in front of our faces and ramming it down our throats. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see it. In fact, I want to know why China is trying to take over Africa. I want to know why there's still slavery in Africa. I want to know why corporations like Apple are having child labor and they're not paying anybody minimum wage. What about that? I don't care about SJW. That's nothing. In the grand scheme of things, I want to know like why every president that comes into office has to create a fictitious enemy, whether it's Saddam Hussein, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, now North Korea. Why always is there an enemy? Why? Because it's bullshit. It's all an illusion. It's it's bullshit media. Creating their reality for us to fall susceptible to and respond to. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm sorry. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I am not shifting to your version of reality. I am not doing it. I am sorry. And if I offended you with the fact that I don't care about your belief system because it's my reality and everyone else is just a guess. And as soon as I don't like what's going on, I am going to shift to a new earth, a new universe, a new parallel reality where this bullshit doesn't go on. That's what I'm going to do. That's right. They are destroying Hawaii. They are. So thank you for bringing that. Thank you for bringing that up. So listen, my beloved, we gotta wake up and understand that what we think is culture, what we think is something that comes about through like osmosis or is organic is really, it's synthesized, it's manufactured for us, it's socially engineered to manipulate our minds, to push us toward a very dark new world order future. George Orwell warned us about this. He was wrong in a lot of things that he was saying because he looked at it in terms of a militarized control of the population. It's not going to be a militarized control of the population, and I'll tell you what it will be. Let me just put the donation link in here. I want you guys to, if you can donate, and I got some special things I'm going to release, and I'm going to tell you about that. And it's because of you guys who have donated, I'm able to keep publishing the things that I will be revealing to you. So, what the most conniving and evil genius scheme that they've come up with, and I have to give them credit for it, is to make the slave not even realize he or she is a slave. So they're socially engineering you, manipulating your mindset so you'll go along with your own extermination. That's what they're doing. You won't question your own extermination. You'll do it easily. It's just like cows at a slaughterhouse. They line up, they go into the slaughterhouse. They don't know what's going on until the blade cuts their throat. And that's how we're going to be. We're going to be so mentally warped, and we're already there. We're already mentally warped. because we don't know we live in the matrix. You tell people, do you know you live in the matrix? They're like, nah, that's not true. That's a movie. No, you actually are in a matrix. You just don't want to accept that fact. But they're going to create new humans. The generation after me will, and the generation after that, my daughter, son, their kids will be socially engineered to accept and go along with their extermination. Because everything we're doing now is we're setting it up for our own downfall. Think about that. Which is why it's very important that you learn to become a master magician so you can shift to a new reality, because they want you to stay in this third dimension, 3D dimension. They want you here. But your goal should be go to fifth dimensional ascension. That's where you want to go. But they need to keep you here, third dimension, because they can't enact their plan if you suddenly wake up that you're in the matrix and that you are God man, God woman, and you have power to manipulate reality. As soon as you realize that, their plan is done with. It's over. The fat lady is singing for them. Do you feel me? Do you understand what I'm saying? When I say, do you feel me? That comes out of the ancient Kemet, because our ancestors spoke like that in puns. Do you feel the vibration that I'm giving you? Do you understand that vibration? The vibration of Ma'at, truth. And when I say I dedicate this broadcast to Het-Heru and Sebek, Het-Heru deals with the entertainment industry. Sebek deals with verbal communication, belief system, and facts. Together, they have a powerful union, and they deal with the media and Hollywood entertainment industry. Not everybody in Hollywood is bad. I'm talking about the upper echelon. Just like I say, the people that you meet, the white people, the black people, are really good, sincere people. But it's the people at the top that are manipulating them. And they keep us stressed out and in fear, so much so we don't have time to analyze every bit of information that comes our way. And that's how it slips under the radar and it goes into our subconscious mind. And then we start to manifest it as a reality. This is why you got to go dark. You got to turn off TV and media and what they're saying, because they're lies so much. The lie is just ridiculous. I saw the movie Black Panther. I enjoyed it, but it was full of lies. It was full of media manipulation. I saw right through that. I said, it's a good movie, but boy, this has got a lot of symbolism and manipulation going on, but it's a good movie. It's entertaining. I see what they're trying to do. I'm not buying it. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, I saw Get Out, and I was like, okay, this is exactly what I thought it would be. White girl, enemy, evil white girl. All right, I see what's going on. Oh, look at these TV commercials. Okay, black woman with white guy in TV commercial. So they don't want to hire a black male actor and give him some work. So black male actors can't get work in commercials alongside their own women. Wow. Ooh, but you put a black male in there married to a white woman, what they did with that Cheerios commercial, all hell break loose. You know what I'm saying? That one Cheerios commercial got so much hate mail. And now what happened with all these other commercials with the black woman and white male? No one's saying anything about that, are they? That's acceptable. It's the Captain Kirk and 007 syndrome. They can screw every woman out there, but no one bats an eye because the white male is the hierarchy, So that's okay. That's okay. So listen, my family. I am releasing a new version of my ebook. That's gonna be awesome. Okay, it's just going to be awesome. Rape culture. So we're gonna be releasing that, I believe, next week, and Tyreek is working on it, and it deals specifically with this. I talk about Ghostbusters in that, and if you want to get it now, you can download it at the link below in the description box. But I would wait until I release the new version because I'm pimping it up. It's going to be awesome. And then after that, I'm going to be writing another ebook, and that will deal with another important topic. But my next video, I am going to list off all the supporters who have donated to my channel, because I want to thank all of you for donating. And I've been meaning to put together a video to thank you guys for that. And it's my fault I haven't done it. A lot of busy stuff. I'm actually, I'm working on, you know, a Disney film right now. So I shouldn't be talking bad about Disney. Actually, I love Disney. I just don't like some of the films that they're producing. But Disney's a big conglomerate that's composed of many companies within it. It's like a big umbrella, and under that is a lot of other companies, so it's okay. But Sue Ann, that's a good question. How are we going to survive 20 years from now? This is the mark of the beast. You are consciousness. You have always been and always will be. So don't even worry about it. And you have the power to shift to a new reality whenever you want. So the question is invalid, okay? So think about that. Think about that. So anyway, I want to thank you all for attending this broadcast. I hope it really hits home to you, that you understand, that you feel the passion and what I'm trying to say, so that we can take a stand and do something to move to a new world, a new vision, a new reality, one that is in alignment with Neter, Source, Allah, Yahweh, God's will. That's what we want. And we know God's will comes through Tuhuti or Jehuti. And he is the God of wisdom, or thought, as he's called, or Hermes Trismegistus, which means thrice great. He comes by many names. And his mate, the goddess Ma'at. So this is Kasak Ma'akeperu, son of Ma'at. And until my next broadcast, that's all for now. Amun Ra.